I knew there was a method to it all, but I never knew what, This thing, I think, could open a whole new door. Yeah, I was talking to Henner, about, I watched all 32.
I heard.
It took me 2 days.
You're a black belt. For those who don't know out there, Ed has been training with us since I remember Ed coming in for his first class when I was like 10 or 11 years old. I was a little kid and I was like, dude, that's Al Bundy. Can you sign my knee for me? Like, it was amazing. And he's there and he hasn't left since. And he's become somewhat of an uncle to us. But the point is, Ed's a black belt. And we firmly believe that anybody who's been training as long as Ed has, or even half the amount of time, what you already embody much of this already, because it's impossible to go through jiu-jitsu for a decade or more and not touch on all of these principles. What we are doing here is we're not saying, hey, black belts, come learn these principles. What we're doing is we are trying to classify all of the ingredients that every jiu-jitsu black belt and above automatically uses and relies on every single day.
Like you say, there's 15 steps to a move. And if you try to do that and think about all 15, it's rough. It's not so, what would the word be, like, natural. If you're a teacher and you're strong and you're athletic and you're fast, you're probably going to be that kind of teacher. But in the long run, you're going to have to come back to Elio's apex principle, which is efficiency.
Yes.
Because that athleticism has a small window. If you want to do jiu-jitsu all your life,
correct,
you're going to have to be that, which you guys have been teaching for years. And I learned, when I learned from your dad, I wasn't using my strength. I never really wanted that, because I knew I would watch you guys and go, they don't do that. They don't have to insist on things. If it's not easy, they give it up and they go to something else. So that, and I thought, and I'm not a kid. I mean, I started when I was like 40 or something. So I thought, I've got to be smart. I've got to be more like Elio. And that was like my ideal. I thought, that guy is a genius. He's so, I want to be like that. So I would never use my body weight, because that was easy. It didn't take anything out of me. But yeah, that was, the way you guys learned it was the Elio Gracie method. The other thing, it's just hitting me as I'm talking, because I went through 32 in a day and a half, right? So the changing speeds.
Yes.
The changing speeds.
The velocity principle.
And I love the idea that you're the one who says go. If you say go, you can beat Usain Bolt in 10 or 15 yards, which is true. And I thought, wow, that's right. And I learned that technique when I was from my father. I don't know where but it wasn't in jiu-jitsu, but it was in football. Like, I used to run with the ball when I was a little kid, and he would say the guy would tackle you, right? You get hit by 2 or 3 guys, but you're still up, you're trying to get a couple more yards, and then you go down. And he would say, look, when you know they have you, just relax, completely relax, and start to fall, and then rip away. Because that's what happened. You say it in the tape of jiu-jitsu. When you relax your grip, they relax theirs.
Yeah, when it comes to techniques, it's almost like people are building, they're identifying, for example, arm bars or sweeps or escape. Yep. And once they identify them, they place them, and then they invest in those. And what we're saying is that you can invest, you can identify on your own, but the chance of you identifying it on your own and kind of really labeling it and saying, you know what, the pivot principle, right? Or the center line principle. It's hard for you to really say that is something and I'm going to invest in it. But now, right, in a sense, we're giving people permission to identify it and say, you know what, like you said, I've been learning this, and let me invest into this principle like I invest into sweeps, or I invest into mount control or arm bars.
Love that. Yeah,
exactly. I knew there was a method to it all, but I never knew what,
what we've identified. Because if you ask a natural, why are you a natural? They can't even tell you. I've asked guys, we have students, we have instructors, and I say, hey, what's the difference between a natural? They say, well, they move better. I say, no, I have some pretty people that are pretty unathletic who just get it better than others, and some really athletic people who have 2 left feet and they just simply can't put the techniques together and create the thing. The difference between the naturals is they, without having the curriculum spelled out for them, started developing strong relationships with the principles that make all of jiu-jitsu possible on their own. While the remaining 99%, those are the people who come to class, stand against the wall, watch the technique, and tell themselves, if I just do what I just saw enough times, I will become good at jiu-jitsu.
I mean, if I had to choose between techniques and principles, I would spend my time on the principles.